Massive protests just broke out in Nuuk, Greenland, following Donald Trump's special envoy to Greenland, Jeff Landry, essentially getting kicked out of Greenland in disgrace. You see the protests there. We've been talking about Jeff Landry's disastrous visit to Greenland. Now, today was the purported opening of the new United States consulate in Nuuk. They moved locations to this kind of massive building in terms of it being in Nuuk. I mean, it's a really big size building for Nuuk, which has lots of individuals in the city worried that it's being used for surveillance against the people, just how big it is. And so you have this new consulate in Nuuk being opened. The premier or prime minister of Greenland is not attending, and the massive protests are right outside the opening of this consulate. This is in stark contrast to the opening of the Canadian consulate in Nuuk, where all the people of Greenland came out, or a lot of people, to sing "O Canada" and to celebrate Canada's presence there. Now, Jeff Landry's visit was an absolute disgrace. He said Donald Trump put Greenland on the map. He said he was the first high-level diplomat to ever be in Greenland, that no one knew about Greenland before Donald Trump. I don't know, maybe learn history, because Colin Powell was there in 2004. Hillary Clinton was there in 2011. John Kerry was there in 2016. Anthony Blinken was there in 2021. Learn your history. And so these protesters, though, raged on throughout the day. Let me show you another angle of these protests that were taking place. But first, take a look at this sign that was posted outside of the new consulate in Nuuk. It's a sign that says, "Yes, NATO, no pedo." And it's a photo of Donald Trump and Epstein. And let me show you what some of these protests look like as well. Here, play this clip of Greenlandic people protesting in front of the consulate. Let's play this clip. Now, in this disgusting consulate, there is an entire wall honoring Donald Trump. Orla Jolson posts this photo by Marcus Valentin of KNR. At the new consulate in Nuuk, Greenland, a wall has been installed in honor of Donald Trump, Vance, and Rubio. Let me just share with you the post by Landry yesterday, as he was essentially kicked out in disgrace. Nobody wanted him there. This is what he posts. "As I leave this great island, I'm incredibly grateful for the warm welcome and eye-opening conversations. I regret that I only had time to visit the people of Nuuk and look forward to experience everything else that Greenland has to offer. Farewell to the people of Greenland. I enjoyed the many introductions and conversations." Well, nobody wanted you there. This was Landry leaving yesterday, and you can hear a person out there shouting, "Don't come here, Landry, go home." Watch this right here. Let's play it. I'll show you the scene as the demonstrations against the United States and Trump were taking place in Nuuk. You see this massive crowd heading to the consulate. Now, the event that was scheduled for the past few days was an event called Future Greenland, and it was about just generally companies investing in Greenland, but the Trump regime tried to use this as a pretext to send Landry there to impose demands that the United States have full veto powers over any business deals that Greenland enters. And Greenland's like, no, we're not doing that. Also, the Trump regime demanding permanent air bases and military presence in Greenland, to which the Greenlandic people said, absolutely not. This was what the organizer of Future Greenland, Christian Keldon, said, although he does not believe that Jeff Landry, who came here for Trump, understood the conference's main message. He said, I think other people still understood it. He goes, I have to conclude that the person everyone is talking about, even though he's not part of the conference, has not understood the message about what Greenland wants and what Greenland is capable of, said the organizer of this event. Like, Landry wasn't invited. Like, this wasn't a Landry event. But I believe everyone else has understood that there's something valuable here. There is a desire for cooperation, but it also has to happen on Greenlandic terms. Powerful words indeed. You also had this American guy, Clifford Stanley, who's over there, and he has a private signature campaign where he wants to collect 200. He wants to collect hundreds of how many signatures he wants to collect, as many signatures as he possibly can of people in Greenland to accept $200,000 to give up their sovereignty and become part of the United States. Here's how Orla Jensen reports it. Stanley, who's been in Nuuk, has extended his stay. According to one of the local media entities, he wants to stay here 10 more days. If Greenland is to succeed in the future, Greenland must be competitive. The people must know their worth. And $200,000 is the best offer we can give them for now, Clifford Stanley told the local media outlet. He's attempting to collect signatures of people to give up their sovereignty for $200,000. He says, I'm surprised by how close the Greenlandic government is to the people. It was not my intention to offend the premier of Greenland with my actions, he says. And then he goes on to say that he is often met with resistance and anger when presenting his purpose to citizens. And thus far, he has only received 2 signatures recently on his campaign. I'll show you what the former ambassador to Denmark, my friend Rufus Gifford, had to say about this entire trip. Let's play this clip.
Fallen in love with Greenland, with Denmark, with the entire kingdom over the course of my time. And it's very, very important for me not only to share my perspective, but also have Danes and Greenlanders hear from an American that there are a lot of us, a heck of a lot of us, hundreds of millions of us actually, who don't stand for what Donald Trump has said. And it's important for us to show up, and you hear a different narrative than the one you've seen out on the street here from other Americans over the course of the last.
And let's not forget either Landry and how creepy he was on this trip. He was asking the little Greenlandic boys if they want photos with him, and they did not want photos with him. Here, play this clip.
She wanted to know if you were famous. I said, well, I don't know if he's famous, but he's the governor of Louisiana.
You want to take a picture? No?
He's like, I'm good.
And here was Landry as well, asking the little boys if they wanted cookies back in Louisiana, and they did not want cookies from him. I'll show you this. Let's play this clip right here.
If you come to Louisiana and you come to the governor's mansion, all the chocolate chip cookies you can eat.
And then I'll show you, this was as Landry was leaving 2 days ago or yesterday. Here's what he said as he was being pushed out, and he was like all angry and nobody wanted him there. Watch as Landry left. You can see for yourself what went down. You can play this clip right over here.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you all something. When's the last time that any high-level diplomats came to Greenland, whether it's from Europe or not, before Donald Trump?
Well, that says more about you.
No. That's not, no. That's a question that Greenlanders should ask themselves. Who cares more about Greenlanders than the Trump administration and the president? Because seemingly before the president, no one cared.
But why don't you build relations rather than just come without an invitation? Governor, you came without an invitation.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. If you showed up in Louisiana, am I going to throw you out because you weren't invited?
I'm not
I mean, no. This place was open. This conference is open to the public. And so why wouldn't you? The reception's been great.
Really?
Yeah, it has.
How did the meeting go with the Prime Minister yesterday?
I thought it went great.
Really?
Yeah. Why? You think it went bad?
No, I'm curious. What did you guys discuss?
We just discussed the opportunities that we had. I flat out asked them, what were the issues with the United States and the relationship between Greenland and the United States before the president. And you know what? You know what the Prime Minister, what I got out of that meeting? Mm-hmm. I got out of the meeting that before Donald Trump, the United States was ignoring Greenland.
Thank you, guys.
Well, there you have it, folks. And let me just remind you previously, these are powerful words from the Premier of Greenland. This is what he had to previously say. Play this clip.
First and foremost, I would like to reiterate, Greenland is not for sale. Today we have had discussions regarding our cooperation between Greenland and Denmark. I must emphasize that Greenland is an integral part of the kingdom. We are a state governed by the rule of law, founded upon democratic values, and we have self-governance under the Kingdom of Denmark. The situation is very, very, very serious. And the geopolitical interests, they have placed immense pressure on our country and its population. Greenland, as a part of the Kingdom of Denmark, is a member of NATO. We have great confidence in the NATO alliance. and knowing that NATO is supporting us in this situation. But the support from Europe and Denmark is absolutely decisive in this specific situation. We stand together for the integrity of territories. Regarding the protection of democratic values, the protection of democracy, our goal and our desire is to continue a peaceful dialogue, one that is based on cooperation and with full respect for our constitutional standing, for international law, and for our inherent right to our own land and our right to self-determination.
And here's what the Prime Minister of Denmark had to previously say. Let's play it.
Velkommen alle sammen i mere. Welcome everyone. For more than a year now, we, the nations of Greenland and Denmark, have been confronted with the challenge of navigating a truly unfamiliar and profoundly difficult situation. We have taken the initiative to further bolster security in the Arctic region. We have strengthened the bonds among us within the kingdom, and we have successfully built even closer alliances with partners and allies all across the world. It has certainly not been an easy endeavor to stand up against the utterly unacceptable pressure from our closest allies, a pressure that has persisted for a lifetime. However, much also indicates that the most challenging part of this now lies directly ahead of us. And it has, throughout this process, become increasingly clear. Even though it is the Greenlanders who primarily feel the insecurity, and even though we in the entire Commonwealth have had to listen to many insults, there is something much more fundamental at stake. This is not just about Greenland or about the kingdom. This is about ensuring that borders cannot be changed by force.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And thank you so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MidasPlus.com.